Good morning, Life Challenge crew. It's the beginning of week two. Hopefully, you guys had a chance to do a little bit of meal prepping yesterday. If you didn't quite get all your boxes checked this weekend, that's fine. Just let it go. It's in the past. You are a process, not a destination. So this week, we're going to do a little bit better if we had some days we missed last week. One thing that's really important, make sure you guys fill out your wellness wheel. We're going to have a challenge that has to do with that at the beginning or at the end of this week. The second thing is if you haven't put your t-shirt sizes in there, make sure you guys put your t-shirt size on the spreadsheet. I'm going to order those t-shirts today as well. So what I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about today was something that I mentioned in the seminar, that we have this beautiful, exquisite human machine, and no one's really given us a user manual for how to manipulate it or control it. So I'm going to give you guys some more breathwork techniques today and kind of discuss a little bit more of the theory of it so you guys can have some more tools in your toolkit. So pranayama is also another word for breathwork. And if you're to break down pranayama and what it means, prana means life force or breath. Yama means to control, and ayama means to expend, extend, or draw out. So when we think about the human body, right, there's several inputs that are important to us. Sunlight, sleep is a way of regenerating. We can think about food and water as well. Well, you can go days without sleeping. You can go days without food. You can go days without water. You're not going to go days without breathing, right? We breathe 21,000 times per day. And you would think that with something that we're doing so often that we would have a better idea of how to work with it. So the things that are important with breath work, right? You're becoming aware of your breathing, which is important because it brings you into the present moment. If you can think about times where you're suffering a lot, typically you're thinking about the future or you're thinking about the past. Because you're not grounded in that present moment and observing the things that are around you often leads to a lot of suffering. Second, you're controlling the breath, and that's a way of like cleansing the body, of stimulating your digestive system, stimulating your immune system. You're learning that expansion. You're learning to extend not just your physical body, right? You're expanding your lungs, but also your consciousness itself will begin to expand as well as you become more and more aware. And then the fourth is letting go. And we talked about this in class. I think it was Friday. The question of the day is, what is something you have a hard time letting go control of? And that's one of the beauties, I think, also of breath work, is as you learn to let go of your troubles in breath work, it allows you to, one of the other expressions they say is learn how to surf in life, right? It allows you to learn how to surf, right, rather than be caught up in the waves of life. So there are different types of breath work, and one thing I gave you guys last week was this strong yogic breathing to do in the morning to help stimulate everything. And so we're going to stay with that. In the morning, we're going to do another type of strong yogic breathing this week. And this one, I recommend blowing your nose before you do this, but you're going to take big breaths in through the nose. You're going to bring your arms up, and then you're going to bring them down forcefully. So it's just like that. All right. And we're going to follow the same rep scheme we did last week, since you guys have already had some practice there. So you're going to do 9 of those breaths. And then on the last one, big breath in, and we're just going to slowly bring the arms down. And you can hang out for 20, 30 seconds there, just breathing normally. And then you're going to do 15 breaths and then 21 breaths. Same thing on the last one. Big breath in and relax. We've done these a few times in class. During that 20 or 30 seconds of relaxing between those intervals, just notice anything that's happening within the body. Notice the energy that spikes as you guys go through that strong yogic breathing. What this is good for in terms of tools for the toolkit: waking yourself up in the morning. It's a way of stimulating your nervous system, getting your cardiovascular system going, getting your endocrine system going. So it's a good substitute for like a cup of coffee first thing in the morning. You get up and do some strong yogic breathing, it'll wake you up real quick. So one more time, that's 9, 15, 21 of that strong yogic breathing, and then that leaves you in a great state to kind of go into a meditation afterwards. If you want to do some of that Ujjayi breath that we worked with last week, after you go through that strong yogic breathing, that's also an awesome way to kind of calm yourself down for meditation. So play around with that this week, guys. See how you feel after you go through that. And then the second type of breathing I wanted to do was another way of tuning the body, right? Tuning the emotional system. So one analogy that they like to use a lot of times in breath work is they say that the mind and the breath are kind of like a horse and a rider, right? The mind being the rider and the breath being the horse. And one thing I hear a lot from people is when they lay down to go to bed at night, that their mind is just racing. And you can think about the horse and your rider as just racing, right? So one thing you can play around with is learning to slow your breathing down, and that will help slow the mind down as well. And breathing is important, but a lot of times they'll use tone as well. So you're making a sound, either humming or om, right? That's a way of tuning the vagus nerve, which will help slow down your nervous system. So that's what we're going to do this week. You guys are going to hum a little bit. So before you sit down to go to bed at night, you're doing your evening breath work or meditation session. You're going to be taking big breaths in and humming. And that humming will relax the vagus nerve. It'll also, you'll feel the energy kind of vibrating through your system. It's very calming. And if you're doing it right, you'll feel yourself start to salivate as well. So I would recommend doing like 10 of those. If you're a little bit anxious about making noise when you're breathing, some people feel weird if you have other people in the house, I recommend putting some headphones on and going into a separate room. I'll also send you guys a link to some binaural beats, and there's another binaural beat session, and they've also got some ohms in there as well. So if you're nervous about you're not doing the right pitch, you can just go with the ohms that they're doing as well. And yeah, let me know how you guys feel in the comment section after you do each one of those breathwork sessions. And make sure you fill out your wellness wheel. We'll be using that at the end of this week with another assignment. If you guys can prep yourself for that assignment as well. If you don't have any like color pencils or watercolors or anything like that, we're going to be doing a little bit of artwork. So I recommend getting a hold of some color pencils. The crayons would even work as well. Yeah, you guys look forward to that. I'll shoot another video for that on Wednesday or Thursday of this week. Cheers, guys.